The big deal is this is a new introduction of a brand new planter for white planters in Agco. We've had a lot of voice of customer meetings over the years, and the one thing that they really wanted was a 12 row with central fill system. Now, central fill is where you have the higher capacities. In other words, I can put more bushels of seed in it than I do with the row hoppers. Let's take a 12 row planter. Typically, it'll have a 2 or 3 bushel hopper on each row. Let's say it has 3. 3 times 12 is 36. This unit has 45 bushel, 2 45 bushel hoppers, or 90 bushels, or about 3 times the seed. Now, when a farmer's in planting season, he wants to be planting, not filling. And when it takes 45 minutes to an hour to fill, and he has to do that 3 times as much, and the rain's coming, and he can see it around the hill, he'd rather be in the field planting. So that capacity is in the demand, and also a lot of our farmers are my age, maybe a little younger, and they want the simplicity and the ease of not having to wrestle either a commodity cart with a hose to each hopper. They want to go to one location, empty into that hopper. They can use those commodity bags, the auger into one hopper, off they go. So it's simplicity, and it makes that 12-row planter capable of covering a lot more acres than it would have been in the past. In other words, maybe that farmer's on the verge of needing a larger planter. If he's in the 12 row, his next really logical step is 24, double, because the 16, unless he has auto guidance in that, the combine, your rows are off a little bit. So you're at 12, so you need to go as far as you can with that 12 row planter. And with the 12, you can run 6 row heads, 12 row heads, whatever you want to on that, and then the combine. So you got to think about the overall picture of how this fits into the scenario. The other thing they wanted was liquid on board. Now, this one has one of the largest liquid tanks that is available on 12 row planter, and that's at 300 gallons. The planter is designed to carry that load. That's important because fertilizer weighs about 12 pounds to the gallon, and if that tank is kind of an add-on afterthought, the frame may not be designed to handle that load because that's a live load. It's a sloshing load. You've got maybe 200 gallons at 12, you've got 2,400 pounds sloshing back and forth, a lot of side load on a planter, and it needs to be designed into the frame to handle that. Another thing that we found out is you got to kind of clean up hydraulics. You got to kind of have the planter wiring not running every place. You want things kind of protected. So with this, we have what we call kind of an integrated wiring system. And the integrated wiring system, what it does is kind of like car industry has had for quite a few years. It's a specific wiring bundle for a specific part on that planter. It's not like we have a wiring bundle that fits the 24 row, the 16 row, and we just make it a coil and make it fit the 12. Wiring harness is designed for the 12, and all those wiring harnesses go into a central control box. That central control box has connectors so that it's sealed, it's waterproof, it's bug-proof, no mice in there, and that can be an issue with mice. So this is very well protected inside of the control box. And the fuses are in there, and they're auto-type. It's an auto-type fuse box. So typically, you'll find on wiring harnesses, you'll see little inline fuses. Well, every time you have a connection and little inline fuses, you have a chance for moisture to get in, cause shorting, or not make a connection. With everything contained in that control box, you've basically eliminated that problem. So if you have a problem, you know it's in there, and you can check it out in that control box in one little location. Another thing people wanted, or what they've asked for, is since you do have a lot of clutter on a frame and everything folds, and we've got hydraulic hoses and we've got electrical lines, when you have a vacuum system or a pressure system like we use, you have a line that runs down there delivering air to the row units. That's the air that actually operates the metering system for singulation. Well, in most cases, people use plumbing pipe. The companies use plumbing pipe, sewer pipe, whatever. You have a lot of T-fittings and elbows and that sort of thing. It's susceptible to breakage. It's not usually UV protected, so it deteriorates over time. So in this one, we integrated the air system in the frame. So that actually the air pumps or the blowers blow into the frame, and then we plumb out of the frame to the individual row units, and very clean system, and it works very well. There's no clutter, there's no extra plumbing on top of the planter, and we've used it on our 36-year-old, and it's an excellent system. I mean, it works very well. If it'll work on 36, we'll know it'll work on 12.